This video is based on official NTSB investigation reports and documented evidence. The story you're about to hear represents a tragic decision that claimed 9 lives, including basketball legend Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. This investigation explores how weather, pressure, and human judgment combined to create one of aviation's most heartbreaking losses. January 26, 2020. A foggy Sunday morning in Southern California. At John Wayne Airport in Orange County, a familiar blue and white Sikorsky S-76B helicopter prepares for what should be a routine flight to Camarillo Airport. Aboard are 9 souls, including one of basketball's greatest icons, his 13-year-old daughter, and 7 others heading to a youth basketball tournament. The helicopter, registration N72EX, operated by Island Express Helicopters, has made this journey countless times before. Today's destination, the Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks, where young athletes await their basketball games. It's a trip that represents Kobe's dedication to youth sports and his daughter Gianna's passion for the game they both loved. But this Sunday morning brings challenging weather conditions that will test the judgment of an experienced pilot. Marine layer fog from the Pacific Ocean has pushed inland, reducing visibility and lowering cloud ceilings across the region. Local police departments have grounded their helicopters. The conditions that morning would ultimately lead to a decision that changed everything. This is the story of the Calabasa's helicopter crash, how a weather-related choice in the cockpit of a luxury aircraft led to the loss of 9 lives and forever changed our understanding of pressure, decision-making, and the limits of human judgment in aviation. At the controls of N72EX sits Captain R. Zobayan, a 50-year-old pilot with impeccable credentials and deep experience. Zobayan has worked for Island Express Helicopters for about 10 years and has become Kobe Bryant's most trusted pilot. With over 8,200 total flight hours and 1,250 hours specifically in the Sikorsky S-76, he represents the pinnacle of helicopter aviation professionalism. Zobayan holds commercial helicopter and instrument helicopter ratings, plus flight instructor certifications. His most recent proficiency training, including inadvertent entry into instrument conditions and unusual attitude recovery, was completed just months earlier in May 2019. This training will prove tragically relevant to the events about to unfold. The aircraft itself, a 1991 Sikorsky S-76B, represents sophisticated helicopter technology. Originally configured for 12 passengers, Island Express had converted it to an 8-passenger luxury configuration with 2 pilot stations. Twin Pratt & Whitney turbine engines power the 4-blade main rotor system, and retractable landing gear provides the sleek appearance that made it popular for VIP transport. With 4,716 total flight hours, the helicopter has an excellent maintenance record with no outstanding airworthiness directives or mechanical issues. The S-76 is renowned for its safety record and advanced systems, making it a preferred choice for executive transport worldwide. However, this particular aircraft lacks one potentially critical piece of equipment, a terrain awareness and warning system, TAWS, that could alert pilots to ground proximity threats. While not required by regulations for this type of operation, such systems provide an additional safety layer that will be notably absent during the critical moments ahead. The passenger manifest reads like a gathering of families united by basketball and mentorship. Kobe Bryant, 41, the 5-time NBA champion whose legendary career defined a generation of basketball excellence, sits with his 13-year-old daughter Gianna Gigi Bryant. Father and daughter share an unbreakable bond over basketball, with Gianna showing remarkable talent that mirrors her father's dedication to the game. John Altobelli, 56, Orange Coast College's longtime baseball coach, travels with his wife Carrie, 46, and their 14-year-old daughter Alyssa. Alyssa plays on the same AAU basketball team as Gianna, and the Altobellis have become close family friends of the Bryants through youth sports connections. Sarah Chester, 45, accompanies her 13-year-old daughter Peyton, another talented young player on the team. The Chester family has embraced the competitive basketball community that brings these families together for tournaments and training. Christina Mauser, 38, serves as an assistant basketball coach and has worked closely with Kobe in developing young talent at the Mamba Sports Academy. Her expertise and passion for coaching young athletes made her an integral part of the basketball program. All passengers are heading to the Mamba Sports Academy for what should be an exciting day of youth basketball competition. Team Mamba, coached partly by Kobe himself, is scheduled to play against Drive Nation in a tournament that represents the culmination of months of training and preparation. The flight represents more than transportation. It's part of Kobe's commitment to staying involved in his daughter's athletic development and his broader mission to elevate youth sports through mentorship and high-level coaching. The morning of January 26th presents challenging weather conditions across Southern California. A marine layer, thick fog pushed inland from the Pacific Ocean, has settled over the region, creating instrument meteorological conditions (IMC) that restrict visibility and lower cloud ceilings to dangerous levels. At Van Nuys Airport, automated weather systems report a ceiling of 1,100 feet above ground level with visibility of 2.5 miles in haze. These conditions are marginal for helicopter operations under Visual Flight Rules (VFR), which require pilots to maintain visual contact with the ground and navigate by sight rather than instruments alone. The weather briefing available to Zobayan before departure indicates deteriorating conditions along the planned route. The marine layer extends inland through the Santa Monica Mountains, precisely the area where the flight must navigate to reach Camarillo Airport. Cloud tops extend to approximately 2,400 feet above mean sea level. Significantly, local law enforcement agencies have grounded their helicopter operations due to the poor visibility conditions. LAPD and Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department helicopters remain on the ground, waiting for conditions to improve. This decision by experienced helicopter operators familiar with local weather patterns represents standard safety protocols. The forecast suggests conditions may improve later in the day, providing an alternative to immediate departure. The thick fog and low clouds create what meteorologists call scud running conditions, where pilots attempt to fly below cloud layers while maintaining visual contact with terrain. For helicopter operations, these conditions present particular challenges. Unlike fixed-wing aircraft that can climb above weather, helicopters often must navigate around or below adverse conditions, increasing the risk of encountering unexpected visibility reductions or rising terrain. Before we continue with this tragic sequence of events, we want to thank our viewers who follow through the pilot's eyes. These investigations require careful analysis of official reports and technical data to understand how accidents occur and how they lead to improved safety. Your subscriptions help us research these complex aviation stories. At 9:06 a.m. Pacific Time, N-72EX departs John Wayne Airport under special VFR clearance, a procedure that allows flight in less than ideal visibility conditions as long as pilots can maintain visual reference with the ground. The helicopter climbs to approximately 700 feet above mean sea level and begins its northward journey. The initial phase of flight proceeds normally as Zobayan navigates the familiar route. Air traffic control provides vectors to keep the helicopter clear of other aircraft while maintaining separation from the increasingly congested airspace around Los Angeles International Airport. As the flight progresses toward Van Nuys Airport, visibility conditions gradually deteriorate. The marine layer that started near the coast begins affecting inland areas, forcing Zobayan to make continuous adjustments to maintain legal VFR flight conditions. The helicopter's planned route normally involves turning west over downtown Los Angeles to cross the Santa Monica Mountains via the Sepulveda Pass or along the 101 freeway corridor. However, the marine layer has pushed further inland than typical, blocking these standard routes with thick fog and low clouds. At Van Nuys Airport, air traffic controllers offer Zobayan the option to land and wait for conditions to improve. This represents a critical decision point, an experienced controller's recognition that conditions are becoming marginal for safe helicopter operations under Visual Flight Rules. As the helicopter approaches Van Nuys Airport, Zobayan faces a crucial decision that will determine the outcome of the flight. Air traffic control has offered him the opportunity to land and wait for weather conditions to improve, providing a safe alternative to continuing into deteriorating visibility. The NTSB investigation reveals no evidence that Kobe Bryant or any passenger directly pressured Zobayan to continue the flight. However, investigators identify what they term self-induced pressure, the psychological tendency for pilots to feel compelled to complete flights for high-profile clients, especially when delays might affect important events. Zobayan has developed a trusted relationship with Bryant over years of reliable service. As Bryant's preferred pilot, he has built a reputation for professionalism and dependability. The basketball tournament at Mamba Sports Academy represents an important commitment for Bryant and his daughter, adding weight to the decision of whether to continue. The concept of planned continuation bias also influences the decision-making process. Once pilots commit to a particular course of action, psychological factors make it increasingly difficult to change plans, even when conditions deteriorate. This bias affects decision-making across aviation and represents a well-documented human factors challenge. Additionally, Zobayan lacks what investigators call an adequate backup plan. Without predetermined alternatives for handling deteriorating weather, pilots often default to pressing ahead rather than implementing defensive strategies like landing and waiting. The decision to continue past Van Nuys commits the flight to crossing the Santa Monica Mountains in conditions that are rapidly approaching the limits of safe VFR operations. At approximately 9:44 a.m., As the helicopter flies westbound along the 101 freeway at about 1,370 feet above mean sea level, Zobayan makes a fateful radio call to air traffic control. "We're gonna go ahead and start our climb to go above the layers." This statement indicates his intention to climb above the cloud deck that has been forcing the helicopter to fly at increasingly low altitudes. The decision to climb represents a violation of visual flight rules, which prohibit pilots from entering clouds or areas where visual reference with the ground is lost. VFR operations require continuous visual contact with terrain, something that becomes impossible once the helicopter enters the cloud layer. As the helicopter begins climbing at approximately 1,500 feet per minute, it simultaneously starts a gradual left turn. The climbing turn initially follows the path of Highway 101 below, but weather conditions are rapidly deteriorating around the aircraft. Within 36 seconds of beginning the climb, the helicopter's flight path begins to diverge from the freeway below. This divergence suggests that Zobayan has entered the clouds and lost visual reference with the ground, forcing him to rely on flight instruments for navigation and control. The Sikorsky S-76, while equipped with sophisticated avionics, is being flown by a pilot who has transitioned from visual flight into instrument conditions without proper preparation or clearance. This transition represents one of the most dangerous scenarios in helicopter aviation. Climbing through approximately 2,300 feet, the helicopter briefly approaches the top of the cloud layer. For a moment, it appears Zobayan might successfully climb above the weather and regain visual conditions. However, the situation is about to deteriorate rapidly as spatial disorientation takes hold. Inside the clouds, Zobayan encounters one of aviation's most insidious killers, spatial disorientation. This phenomenon occurs when pilots lose visual reference points and their inner ear's vestibular system provides conflicting information about the aircraft's actual attitude and movement. The vestibular system, located in the inner ear, normally helps humans maintain balance and understand spatial orientation. However, it has a critical vulnerability that all pilots learn about during training. It cannot distinguish between motion-induced forces and gravity. In clouds, without visual cues, the inner ear can provide completely false sensations about aircraft attitude. At 9:45 a.m., Zobayan radios air traffic control, climbing to 4,000. But flight data reveals a terrifying reality. The helicopter is actually beginning a rapid descent at approximately 4,000 feet per minute while turning sharply to the left. Zobayan's perception of climbing directly contradicts the aircraft's actual flight path. This classic case of spatial disorientation demonstrates how the human brain can misinterpret instrument readings when physical sensations suggest something entirely different. Despite having instrument training, Zobayan appears unable to trust his flight instruments over the false sensations provided by his vestibular system. The helicopter's left banking turn becomes increasingly steep as Zobayan, likely believing he's still climbing, actually descends rapidly toward rising terrain in the Santa Monica Mountains. Modern flight data analysis shows the aircraft entered an unusual attitude that became increasingly difficult to recover from as speed and descent rate increased. Within seconds, the situation becomes irreversible as the helicopter approaches terrain impact while Zobayan remains disoriented about the aircraft's actual attitude and trajectory. At 9:46 a.m., an eyewitness hiking in the Santa Monica Mountains hears the sound of helicopter rotors growing louder through the fog. Suddenly, a blue and white Sikorsky S-76B emerges from the clouds in a steep left bank, traveling fast on a descending trajectory. The witness observes the helicopter for only 1 to 2 seconds before it impacts the hillside. The helicopter strikes a 34-degree slope in the foothills of the Santa Monica Mountains at high speed, creating a 24-foot by 15-foot impact crater. The force of impact and subsequent fire destroys the aircraft completely, killing all 9 occupants instantly. First responders face challenging conditions reaching the remote crash site. The same fog that contributed to the accident hampers rescue efforts, and the mountainous terrain requires specialized equipment to access the wreckage. Los Angeles County Fire Department helicopters cannot launch due to the weather conditions that grounded other agencies. The impact site, located in a mountain bike park near Calabasas, becomes the focus of an intensive investigation. NTSB investigators arrive within hours to begin the complex process of determining what caused this devastating accident. Security camera footage from a nearby maintenance yard captures the helicopter's final moments flying westbound along Highway 101, providing crucial evidence about the aircraft's flight path before entering the fatal cloud layer. The tragic irony is unmistakable. A flight intended to celebrate youth athletics and family bonding has instead claimed the lives of parents, children, and coaches whose dedication to sports brought them together. The loss reverberates far beyond the immediate families to the global basketball community and millions who admired Kobe Bryant's legacy. As we conclude this investigation into the Calabasas helicopter crash, we thank our viewers who follow through the pilot's eyes. These analyses of tragic accidents help us understand how human factors, weather, and decision-making intersect in aviation safety. Your support through subscriptions allows us to research these complex stories that honor those lost while advancing safety knowledge. The NTSB's final report identifies the probable cause as pilot decision to continue flight under visual flight rules into instrument meteorological conditions, resulting in spatial disorientation and loss of control. Contributing factors include self-induced pressure, planned continuation bias, and inadequate safety management oversight by Island Express helicopters. The investigation leads to important safety recommendations, enhanced weather decision-making training for Part 135 helicopter operators, improved spatial disorientation simulation technology, and better safety management systems. The NTSB emphasizes that this type of weather-related helicopter accident occurs approximately every 6 months. The crash transforms safety discussions around celebrity transport and high-profile flights. While no evidence suggests Bryant pressured Zobayan to fly, the investigation highlights how psychological factors can influence pilot decision-making when serving prominent clients. Kobe Bryant's legacy extends beyond basketball to include advocacy for youth sports, women's athletics, and educational initiatives. His tragic death galvanizes efforts to improve helicopter safety standards and weather-related training protocols. The accident serves as a sobering reminder that weather presents equal challenges to all aviators regardless of aircraft sophistication or pilot experience. In aviation, the pressure to complete missions must never override fundamental safety principles. Today, improved training programs help pilots recognize and respond to deteriorating weather conditions, ensuring that future flights benefit from the painful lessons learned from this tragedy.